I should really do one of those things. That would make a lot of sense. Let's see. Got indication here that I'm offline. Are you working today? Oh, I guess you must be considering that Twitch thinks I'm live. Greetings, mortals, and welcome to Kongo. So today I am going to go on a little bit of a sort of like pre-stream tirade about sort of like when we design institutions backward, with the incentives backward. So if you look at sort of like the prison industrial complex, which is a dangerous thing in America, and it's a huge industry that makes a huge amount of money for some very specific people while costing everyone else money. The prison industrial complex is basically a means by which people can be enslaved. But where does it come from? The question is like, how is it that something like that ends up coming into being, right? Like, why is it that our systems are so like weirdly designed so that they just kind of seem like their intention, their raw intention, is to enslave people, right? What is going on there? And the key for what's going on with that is basically at every stage of the system, there are mechanics that have been put in place that have some legitimate purpose that they have come up with, but which don't recognize that they change the incentive structure for the people who are running the system, the people with the actual power in the system. So, example, if you think about the concept of bail kind of makes sense when you think about it. But then when you look at the systemic structures that are involved, you say, wait, isn't this system incentivized to make it harder for people to show up to court? Isn't it better for the system, the people who are making the decisions, the people who are actually doing the thing, if people don't show up to court because then they make money, as opposed to not having them show up to court? So that's like an easy, quick example of like people being directly incentivized to bad behavior. When you look at the way that cops think about the rest of the community and the way that the community thinks about the cops, I don't think I've ever lived in a community that was pro-cop. Ever. I don't think I've ever lived in a community that actually liked and respected the cops. I've lived in suburban, very white towns, and everyone there hated the cops because the cops were bored as fuck, and the only thing that they did was harass random people for driving violations and occasionally raid teenagers' parties. Like, that's basically the only things that the cops did in the town, right? Almost nobody had any respect for the cops. Almost nobody felt safer because the cops were around. If you eliminated the cops from the neighborhood, nobody would care, and it wouldn't have really had a meaningful impact on the community because of a variety of factors. So that's, and then of course on the opposite extreme, you have places where I lived in frickin' Florida. Specifically, I lived in one of, I think, the top 50 most dangerous cities in America. Right? It's like in the top 30s, I think. I think it's in the 30s somewhere. It's one of the most dangerous cities in the entire country. It has, so to give you an idea, where my mother lives right now, that area is so dangerous that the number of people who are violently assaulted in a year, the yearly number of people who are violently assaulted is something like 3 times as high as the number of people who voted for mayor. The number of violent assaults is triple the number of people who voted. And that tells you 2 things that are both huge problems in the system, right? You've got a bunch of violent crime, and you've got a bunch of people not voting. So anyway, so I've been on both ends of the sort of safety extreme, but in dangerous places, like legitimately dangerous places, people do not have any respect or trust in the cops because the cops will look after themselves before they will look after you. The cops will not endanger their lives to save yours. And they do not have a constitutional responsibility to, and they simply don't. There was a great story where I think it was the NYPD, basically were lying in wait for a murderer who had a knife. There's this guy who was running around like he was just nuts. He had a knife and he was just attacking random people on the subway. And the cops were lying in wait for him in like the driver's part of the car, and he attacked this dude on the train with his knife, and the dude was bigger and stronger than him, and he got sliced to ribbons, but he physically managed to restrain the guy with a knife. He managed to restrain him and get him under control while he's bleeding all over the place. And then, after that happened, after he was physically restrained, the cops came out to arrest the guy who has already been subdued. And then they took all the credit for catching him. And the guy ended up suing the city because they did nothing to protect him. They didn't even attempt to. And the courts decided that the cops did not actually have a responsibility to protect citizens, and that was not actually part of their job description. So that's an important thing to understand, is that the way that we set up our systems matters, and the incentive structures that we have matter, right? It makes a huge difference in the way that people think about police if police are supposed to protect you over themselves, which is the way that you would typically think of a public servant. A public servant is supposed to act in the public good at the expense of their own, right? That's just the nature of what they're supposed to do. But beyond that, when you think about the way that America has this antagonistic relationship with police, a good portion of the reason that America generally has a very antagonistic relationship with police, regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of anything else, there is a specific demographic of people that likes cops. And that is basically white people who live uncomfortably close to black people. Those are the people who like cops. They don't live in a black neighborhood because then they'd see the cops all the time and they'd be like, these guys are kind of crazy. I don't like these guys. So they don't live in a black neighborhood because white people who live in a black neighborhood don't like cops. But they live adjacent to one, and they feel that the cops are keeping all the, gangbangers and the druggies away from them. Those are the people who like cops. The people who are distant enough from black communities that they do not understand them, are close enough to black communities that they see what they see on television, and they think, oh my God, these people are going to kill me. And they are distant enough from cops that they don't have to interact with them. And the cops that are near them have better things to do, better things to do. They're busy harassing black people instead of harassing them. And so as an example, in my town, because my town, there was two or three black families in the town that I lived in Minnesota. And because of that, racial profiling, I'm sure that those families had way more troubles than the rest of us. But the cops can't busy themselves with harassing black people. They can't do it. There's not enough black people to harass for the cops to fill their time with that. So instead they harassed white kids, right? Because harassment is what they are systemically incentivized to do. So when you think about the way that cops work, cops don't make a lot of money from solving major crimes. That's not where their money comes from. Their money comes from pulling you over when you're going 2 miles over the speed limit and charging you $200 for going 2 miles an hour over the speed limit. That's where they make their money. At its core, they are directly incentivized to pull people over for traffic violations, because traffic violations are where the big bucks are, right? Traffic violations make them the money. Obviously, things like drug violations and things of that nature, anything that they can confiscate property is also a really big moneymaker for the police. Why are the police directly making money off of any of their behaviors is insanity. They should not be making money off of anything that they do. The things that they should be given a stipend to do what they are supposed to do, and there should be no performance-based metrics at all in how much money they make. But there are. But all the performance-based metrics that define how much money they make are built fundamentally on harassment. They're all for low-level offenses that they can quickly get in. No one's going to fight them in court. They get the money, and they leave. That's what they get their money out of. And that's not to say that all traffic violations are harassment. There's plenty of ways that you can be driving that are dangerous and stuff like that. However, as an example, again, from the little town that I lived in, because this is like, you can get the archetypal like harassing cop behaviors out of little white towns, because you don't have to worry about any of the complicating factors of racism and things like that, because it's monoracial. They're just doing their normal bullshit that they would usually be targeting individual groups, but they can't. So anyway, there are certain areas in the town where there are very poorly marked locations where the speed limit dramatically changes in a very short time, and then it goes back to what it was. So there's like a half a mile span where the speed limit is 20 instead of 30, right? Now, in most places in the country, you think, oh, well, who cares? You just drive the speed limit of 30 and they're not going to pull you over, because cops don't pull you over unless you're going at least 15 miles over the speed limit or 10 miles over the speed limit. That's not true in Buttocks Nowhere, Minnesota. In Buttocks Nowhere, Minnesota, they will pull you over if you're driving 1 mile per hour over the speed limit, because they have nothing better to do with their time. So what they actually will do is they'll actually just set up right there at the place where it changes over, and then they'll just catch people who have not transitioned quickly enough to the new speed limit, which they're then going to have to transition back to the original 30 mile per hour speed limit like 30 seconds later. So they'll set up a speed trap there, and they'll catch a bunch of people, and that's why people hate cops. Because from a practical perspective, there's no reason why it's particularly dangerous to drive faster in that area. It's not actually a school zone or anything like that. It's some like basic fucking districting issue that has to do with like complicated interrelations between like what zoning type it's considered, and that changes the speed limit. So at any rate, that's the kind of behavior that is incentivized by the system, but it's also the kind of behavior that creates a like directly antagonistic relationship between the cops and the people who are being policed. And when you think about that structure and the way that it interacts with basically a monoracial community with just like, there are isolated minorities who can be targeted, but everyone is actually going to have to be targeted at some point or another. And because of that, everyone is aware of what's going on. This problem is made worse in communities that are not monoracial, that do have clearly established power tiers between ethnicities and things of that nature, because all of a sudden all those white kids are no longer getting pulled over by the cops. Those white kids aren't getting pulled over by the cops. It's just the black kids that are getting pulled over by the cops over and over and over and over again. Like stop and frisk, as an example, is a perfect example of this systemic problem where when you look at the actual math involved, you look at the actual numbers, it's just fucking mind-boggling. Because it's easy to be like, oh, well, you know, black people were 5 times more likely or whatever to be stop and frisk than white people. But it just gets, the numbers get so staggering when you realize that on a yearly basis, certain demographics of like young black men were on average being pulled over and frisked by the police. So they're basically having their personal space invaded and just they're fucking being molested by police officers 3 to 4 times a year. Now just imagine that. This is on average, like on a city level, the average person of this basic demographic, this racial and age demographic group, is being stopped and molested 4 times a year. It's madness to think of. Because like when you think of yourself, imagine yourself if the cops, every few months, the cops pushed you up against a wall and started groping you. And that's what the difference is between the kind of harassment that you see in these monoracial communities where when the police start getting out of control, everybody knows about it because they're targeting everybody. And what you see in these multiracial communities where the only people that are being targeted are the people who are being systematically disenfranchised, right? They're targeting the people with the least amount of saying power. Bear in mind that this also holds true in communities that have clearly delineated classes that are easy to identify, even if they're all the same race. So if you have a clear delineation of impoverished white people that are an underclass to wealthy white people, you actually can see a very similar sort of thing start to arise where the impoverished people are getting more and more and more oppressed. The issue with that comes down to how identifiable those people are in the modern day. Back in the old days, it was very easy to identify who the nobles were and to not fuck with them. Nowadays, particularly after the tech boom, when you have a bunch of fucking computer programmers who are like wealthy as God, but have no idea how to dress themselves in the morning, or more accurately, do not care to dress themselves in the morning, it's harder to identify class based off of your clothing. But, and this is really a big problem, it's not any harder to identify class based off of skin color, because it turns out that we haven't really made a lot of progress with regards to the integration of the classes. So anyway, all that being said, I wanted to start this off with sort of like a talk about sort of like systems and the way that structures are incentivized. Because as an example, if you set it up so that cops are incentivized to do, well, let's say you incentivize cops to do nothing. You don't give them any incentive structure at all. So you take away all performance-based bonuses from the police department. The police department has its budget, and it doesn't get any extra money. It can't confiscate people's belongings and then sell them at like fucking market to make money off of it. They don't get money from speeding tickets. They don't get money from any of this bullshit. So let's say that that's the case. They have no incentive structures whatsoever. The cops are going to do whatever they feel like is the right thing to do or whatever they think is their job to do, and they won't be incentivized in any particular way. This would probably lead to fewer cops giving you a ticket when you're driving 2 miles per hour over the speed limit. The reason that people typically do not do that is actually because if you are going 1 to 2 miles over the speed limit, it's much more likely that you will be so upset that the cop pulled you over that you go to court over it. Because if you show up at court and you actually contest the ticket, usually you win. Because it's much more expensive for them to fight you than it is for them to just let the ticket go. And interestingly enough, the same holds true for you. But certain people have insurance companies that have basically cop protection, and there was a kid in my area who had this, which is basically if you get a speeding ticket, we will actually give you legal defense. We will defend your speeding ticket. And people who had the little icon that indicated that they had that kind of insurance, the cops never gave speeding tickets to. Never. They just never gave them tickets. That seems like a great system, right? This is a perfect system that we've got designed. Anyway, so we've got a lot of incentive structures that incentivize turning the public and the police against each other, where they are directly working at cross purposes. And speaking of things that have the government working at cross purposes, we're going to talk about the bail project, and we're going to talk about bail as a concept. So for those who were not here before, which probably few, is the bail project is basically designed to eliminate cash bail in America. So cash bail as a system is functionally a thing where you give a bond to the government that is sufficiently small that you will pay it, but sufficiently large that you won't run away from it, so that you will make your court hearing. Basically, they want you to come back to court. They want you to actually, face trial, and they don't want to chase you across half the country in order to do it. So they have you pay bail to ensure that you don't try to run away. That's the basic gist. It's meant for people that have a low but technically existent flight risk, right? You don't need to set bail for everyone. You could just say, okay, well, come back when your court date. And you don't set a bail at all for people who you think are a danger to their community. Unless they're a rich white person, in which case you do anyway. But assuming that they are not a rich white person, bail is almost never set for, and I do mean a rich white person. Not all white people get this treatment. Rich white people do. Other people usually do not. Though, actually, I should just say rich people, because actually, now that I think about it, there's plenty of rich people of color who also get bail, because they can... Anyway. It's all about power at its core. So, at any rate, so bail is not set for people unless they are rich, if they are deemed to be a danger to their community, or they are deemed to be an extreme flight risk. If you think that this person is going to just jump over to the wall to Canada, no matter how much money they give you, then you don't set a bail. There's no requirement for them to set bail. And anyway, that's the basic gist. But you have to have an excuse for why you are leaving this person in prison without warning. You do not, however, need an excuse to set a bail. And there are technically laws in America against excessive bail, but they're completely fucking useless and they're not enforced. And you can tell that they're useless and not enforced because the entire point of bail is that it's paid. The point of bail is to get people out of prison. That's the purpose of bail, is to take people who are innocent and move them out of the prisons and let them go back to their normal lives until they make their court date, at which point they can either prove their innocence, or, well, either the government can prove their guilt, or they remain innocent, because they are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So if the government doesn't prove them guilty, then they were innocent the whole time. So anyway, so what happens instead is we set a bail number that is excessive, that someone cannot pay, and what happens then is that those people then just sit in prison because they can't not sit in prison. And the problem with that, though, is that they're in debt because they're Americans, so they're obviously in debt. And so since they're Americans and therefore in debt, they can't afford to just sit in prison. So what ends up happening is, because it's going to take months for your trial, so what ends up happening is people are coerced into confessing because it gets them out of prison earlier than being declared innocent does. And they're also psychologically abused the entire time that they're in there, and basically convinced that it doesn't matter whether you're innocent or guilty, we're still going to prove you guilty. You're going to be proven guilty no matter what. They are basically told that in prison. And guess what? They're in prison. They're a captive audience. They don't really get an opposing view to the view of the cops and the prosecutors, because the cops and the prosecutors have complete control over their world now. And they will until they accumulate an amount of money that they cannot accumulate, or they are released. So anyway, that's the basic gist with bail. The bail project is a project who basically just pays people's bail, which basically just gets innocent people out of jail, and then They are no longer in prison, and they can go back to their court date, and they can either prove their innocence, or rather not be proved guilty, or they can be proved guilty, and then they go to jail for the crime that they actually committed, as opposed to the crime of being too poor to pay bail. So that's the basic gist of what the Bail Project does. You do get your money back when you make your court date, which means that, because bail is a bond, it's not a tax, the government doesn't get this money. It doesn't get to keep it, unless you don't come back. Which, again, systemic structures that the government has an incentivized structure to make you not get to your court date. But the Bail Project has an incentive structure designed that they want you to make your court date. Imagine that. So the Bail Project basically pays people's bail and helps people get to their court dates. One of the really good advantages of the Bail Project is the fact that when you donate money and it pays someone's bail, or it pays a portion of someone's bail, whatever, right? You pay $1 of someone's bail. When that person comes back, when they come back to court, the Bail Project gets that money back. And then they can use that to post another person's bail, and another person's, and another person's. So the money that the Bail Project uses can be used multiple times, which is, I think, an amazing thing that I find it to me, it looks like a very cost-effective, low-risk sort of investment for my donation. When I think of donation, I think of it as an investment, right? Fundamentally, I think of it as who's going to be helped, in what way are they going to be helped, and what is the cost efficiency of helping them in this way, right? Bail Project seems pretty cost-effective for the amount of risk that's involved, right? It's a very low-risk charity, and I'm not very risk-tolerant. When I look at charities whose purpose is to change Congress's mind on something, I'm very averse to that, because I'm like, I mean, maybe they'll be successful, and maybe this dollar will help them with that, but I have there's no way for me to even begin to hypothesize how much this money is worth in this usage. Whereas when you're looking at paying bail for people, you are saving a person's life. You're potentially saving someone from being disenfranchised, because as soon as they plead guilty because they've been told that they'll get a lesser sentence from pleading guilty, they can't vote ever again in America because they're now a felon. So they are being disenfranchised, and these are innocent people, right? All of them are innocent until the government manages to prove them guilty, and by the fact that they have bail, they have not been proven guilty. So they're all innocent until proven guilty. But most of them are just plain old innocent. And that's the thing that's important to recognize, is that most people that get arrested by the cops are innocent people, right? The purpose of innocent until proven guilty is to recognize that we have a system where the cops on the ground, they don't know whether you're guilty or not. They're just fucking arresting you because it looks to them like you're guilty, and they need to arrest you for either to protect people or whatever reason, right? In the best case scenario, obviously there's plenty of other reasons that people get arrested, but in the best case scenario, innocent people are still arrested by cops, right? Because something they did is misconstrued by the police. So anyway, that is my spiel for now. There is a link down below in the thing. Actually, I guess that isn't on for the YouTube. God damn it. I didn't think to change the YouTube stuff because I was doing it on Twitch. So for those on YouTube, go to the Twitch page, which has a detailed analysis of all this stuff and with a list of links so that you can learn more about the Bail Project or donate. If you do donate, there are a bunch of random punishments that I will do, or sort of other silly benefits, like me singing your praises and things like that, literally, which I have no idea how I'm going to do, and I'm kind of terrified of, but I think it'll be amusing for people no matter how bad a job I do of it. So, outside of that, we can now finally start talking about what's actually going on in this game. So, today we are looking, as you might have noticed by the title, we're looking toward Cornwall. because Cornwall kind of sticks out like this, and it's a 3 development province, and that's really juicy to me. And so I'm looking at England, and so this is the advantage of taking a break. You take a break, you stop, you completely pause the game, and you just spend 20 or 30 minutes just looking. You don't increase time. You don't say, oh no, I should wait 12 days before I do this so that I can get my diplomat back. You don't do anything. You sit here. And I really wanted this diplomat back, by the way. I really wanted this diplomat back, but that's fine. We were waiting. And because we were waiting, we got to see a few different things. So, Portugal, I think I might be able... Oh, nice! Congolese Mexico got a claim on Portuguese Mexico. That's actually really sexy. Good job with that. So I now have a claim over here, so I can declare whenever. I guess I could have declared anyway, but whatever. Anyway, we have Newfoundland up here, which is spawned. And that means that I could actually take... They have exactly 5 provinces. They actually have 7, but these 2 are still colonies. They have these 5 provinces that I could take, and I can fabricate claims on right now. And I think, in fact... I am going to get my diplomat back so that I can check some stuff out that I couldn't check while I wasn't live. But before I do that, actually, I do need to get my boats. Where are my boats at? Over here, right? We're going to leave this army here for right this second, I think. And we are sending our boats to... Actually, can you guys just walk here? You guys can just walk here. So I'm just going to have them walk to Mali. I'm going to have these guys walk to here instead. Supply limit is 22, actually. It might be a little... So these guys cannot walk to Mali. So these guys actually will leave the boats anymore. Okay. So my goal right now is... I was thinking it was going to be to sort of expand further in here, and that's not really a goal. It's far too easy for me to just keep punching these guys on truce timer. My vassal swarm over here can probably handle all the armies here now, because we've shrunk everyone down so much. I don't think I'm actually going to be... I don't think I'm going to be a vassal... vassalizing Jolof. I have claims from Mali. Mali's just going to conquer Jolof. It's going to be fine. Let's see here. Anything else that we need to do? I think... Did we send these guys over? We did, right? Yes. Okay, so these guys are heading over here. And what we're basically going to be doing is we're going to be trying to simultaneously acquire Newfoundland and acquire a staging ground in Europe. Now, when I was looking at these guys, I realized they are fighting 2 separate wars with major powers. They're fighting against Castile, they're fighting against France. I say they're fighting against Castile. They're fighting against Spain. They're fighting Spain and they're fighting France at the same time. And importantly, if you actually look at the war score for this, they're currently blockaded by the French. So the fact that they're currently blockaded by the French means that their navy should not actually be relevant right now. I should not have to worry about their navy at this particular juncture. So we're going to wait 5 days. I'm going to take a quick look over here. If I were to declare war, Flanders and Lubeck will not join in, which is great. And that is very good. So we will only have to deal with England itself. If I were to declare war on Portuguese Mexico, Castile also will not join. Oh my god. Castile is so far in debt. Interesting. So I guess while I'm doing the other war, I can actually take control of this stuff. No, I can't. They're not at war right now. I can't do this yet. It seems like I can, but I can't because I need to actually build up a navy before I can do that. Castile is only going to be further in debt as time passes, so I'm sure this will be fine. Unless they get a bunch of money from the English. Either way, it's probably fine. So, we are going to be fabricating a claim over here. So that we can basically just get a claim on Newfoundland. As soon as we have a claim there, we can declare war and go Yahoo. We will want to go after Portugal soon, which means that I probably should actually build some ships. Do I want to, how many ships does Portugal have? This is not the right place to look. We have navies, and Portugal has 5 heavies. That's not very many heavies, actually. I might be able to actually deal with Portugal right now. I mean, not right now. I still have to build the heavies. Let's build a flagship. Oh, yeah. I actually don't have enough sailors that I'm comfortable with this. I use 21 on missions right now. So I don't think that that's going to be viable. Okay, I'm not gonna do that yet. Let's worry about other stuff. Other thing, I need to set my merchant and steer trade here, and that's actually going to give me a pretty sizable boost to my income. What else do we need to do? Ooh, Mombasa is clear. Next thing on our agenda is Nani. So we'll actually be able to do this immediately when we have it finished. Okay. Next thing on the agenda is, are we interested in going after you? Probably not. Okay, so we will deal with Portugal later. For now, we are going to focus on England. I think that I can deal with Portugal later without running into problems. We have our diplomat spying on London. We're going to wait another 3 days. And now we have the ability to check some stuff. So if I were to declare war on Castile, they are allied with France. That is super interesting. They're in 2 separate wars. Both Castile and France have declared war on them, but they're 2 separate wars. This is like worst case frickin' scenario for England. This is very bad for England. So where are my ships at? Oh, other thing that I need to do, I need to take back some more of my land. So let's go ahead and do this. And we can summon a diet. Equal to or larger than England, who has 23 ships. I'm actually very happy to do this. England has 23 ships total. So if I build 5 carracks, which I was kind of intending to do anyway, I don't have enough sailors to do that. I could also build some flutes. I'm gonna build 5 flutes. It's quick, it'll get the thing done. Gives me some naval morale, which may end up being useful. It probably won't matter because if I end up in a naval conflict with England, who might have just lost their navy. They had 10 before. So they are in the process of losing ships. That is excellent. So England is... Oh, because the rebels are taking their territory and forcing their navy out of hiding. Oh, this is glorious. Okay, so the navy is basically being forced... Oh, shizzle. Okay, so these guys can't actually get where they were going, so they're going to go down here instead. Should be fine. Where are my boats at? You guys are so slow. Why so slow? We're at the 2nd of October, which is pretty damn optimal. So our air is now tolerant. So here's a question. Do I want to remove one of these? It's kind of tempting to remove my increased levies. Or maybe supremacy over the tribal kingdom, even. I can remove oversight by the clergy. Governing capacity increase. I think I'm going to go with oversight of the clergy, probably. Let's get rid of this. So we need to start revoking privileges because we're not going to be able to do it that quickly. And we need to start revoking privileges before things get too out of hand. Basically, we have absolutism to worry about very soon. And we want to have the maximal amount of it. I'm not planning on completely, just going nuts with absolutism. I do need to upgrade my ships before the war is declared, I think. So we're going to pop these guys into Cuba. And that'll be fine. We have another 21,000 waiting here. And if I can basically ferry, I want to get 9,000 troops over here. And let's take a look at England. How has England's army? England now has 6 heavies. England no longer has the capacity to basically fuck around here. I should actually pull the barks out and just have them hang out. Because these cogs basically just... England is no longer a valid rival. They still at both of their wars? They have 41% negative war score against France. Holy shit. So, 515 is a navy that I could easily deal with. I say easily, I still need sailors. What do I want to do here? Can I build... So we'll see how this goes. Right now, England, because of the fact that they have rebels basically completely obliterating them on the mainland, we have some really good business going on for us. So we're going to go ahead and fabricate a claim over here, and that will give us a claim onto Britain. So, how is our navy doing? They've arrived. Look at this frickin' penalties. Jeez. Okay, we're gonna wait 3 months. Lose so many troops to this. Can I? Protector of brethren. Who's your worry? It's right here. Mosi has a claim here. They're allied with Jean, which I actually have another Mosi claim for. So if I declare on these guys, that's bad. But if I declare on you, then I can take this province. I can do this basically for free, except for the fact that it's... Well, I mean, it depends, because it's going to take a while for me to recover enough that I'm willing to put these guys up there. I have a pretty decent bit of time to do this. I'm going to do this. I should have probably done the barracks or something. But actually, I need my money too, so... I just have so many things that need to happen. Spare no expense. Growth of the port in Havana. The growth of the port in Havana has always been closely associated with the natural harbor in the area, and over time the province has come to act as something of a local trade hub. As the settlement has grown, so has the importance of its port. The settlement has come to act as the entrepot for the entire region, and foreign as well as local traders all go there to conduct their trade. Hot diggity. So we've now got an entrepot. Oh, Peasants' War just spawned. Bonman province. Let's see here. You guys will arrive in time, right? Yeah. So what I'm going to try to do, actually, is I might want to walk these guys up. Because I think they can just walk up. Yeah, I'm going to have these guys just walk because they'll suffer less attrition walking to Newfoundland. And that'll allow me to actually do shit with these boats. So we're going to put the boats back in port. And these guys will have the Conquistador, which means that I can just walk straight up here. And we'll just pop straight onto the capital. And that'll work pretty well for us. You guys are going to wait until the 1st. Hey, extra diplomatic reputation. Very nice. Anybody that we don't have an alliance or a vassal relationship with? Hey, we have an additional Diplo relations slot available. So we're going to make use of that in England. We're not going to make use of that over here. So we're going to pop you guys over here. Alright, we can go ahead and repay this loan, I guess. And how else are we doing? Oh, I have 2 free diplomats. That's completely unacceptable. So, I don't need to fabricate a claim over here. I could fabricate some claims over here. Do I want to do that? It might also be valuable to fabricate on Scotland. So these guys are Protestant. Some point in the near future, the Protestants actually are... I might want an alliance with Brittany. Brittany is technically small enough to be diplo-vassalized, technically. And so I might be able to accomplish some good objectives there. Let's see. We need... And yes, I have noticed that Castile is down here now, which is unfortunate, but not that big a deal. I'll be able to take it from them later, and it'll be fine. It'll be 120% fine. Also, I just got 3 claims in Katsina, which is kind of cool. So I can actually declare on Jean for the Mosi claim that's no longer their shit. And hopefully they'll get that claim back, because that was a really good province to have claimed. Who do I want? I guess let's take a look at our vassals. And we are going to start improving our relations with Congolese Mexico, I think. Do I want to bother with that? I don't know how close our ties need to be to them, because we're not planning on annexing them or anything. So our yearly change of opinion is actually positive right now, so there's no reason to worry about them. We have a claim on... Do we have a claim on Shu? We do. We have a claim on Itza. We do. Do we have a claim on you? Yes, we do. So we have a claim on most of the people on the coast here. I'm going to go ahead and get a claim on Guamar here. But I might also, if Portugal declares war on them, I might jump in on that. Let's take a look at England. England is... Oh my god! The French have made landfall in England. The French have actually made landfall. Holy shit. This is amazing. So basically, we're going to pick this army up. As soon as we've got this army ready, I think we're going to be doing our business. Yeah, we're going to grab this army, and I guess we have to wait a little bit for our sailors to restore. So I can remove another one of these things now. How is my governing capacity right now? Where is that going to show up? Probably in government, right? Nope. It's not government. Stability. Okay. I don't need this. So we're gonna... Oh, never mind. They're not high enough. I could do increased levies. I don't want to get rid of strong duchies yet. That's going to be the last thing that I remove. So I think I might want to get rid of increased levies. England has 5 heavies. And how is England's army? So they're not completely wiped. This is Newfoundland's army. Scotland's up here. Okay, you know, maybe I should just organize this by alphabetical order. England has 15,000 troops left. They have no mercenaries and they have no manpower. So, that is very good to know. Oh, we have a bunch of ships here. Cool. I should not have done that at that particular juncture, but that's okay. So, we just wasted a couple of sailors. It's fine though. Alright, we are going to need all of our ships together at some point. So we're going to go ahead and take these guys out of here. And we're going to move them to Mali. Once they're in Mali, that's when we will go for it. I'm just going to leave these guys here because I want to be increasing my ability to siege them. So it looks like we have a ways to go before these guys arrive in Newfoundland, which is fine. It's not that critical that they arrive immediately, honestly. And let's see here. We're going to wait until the end of the month, and then we will put you in charge. So we're actually not going to wait until the end of the month. We're going to... So they're minus 42 with France. So my guess is that France is going to peace out with them pretty soon, my guess. Unfortunately, I do have to deal with the rebel armies around here. There are going to be, like, English rebels that are going to cause problems for me. But not a lot I can do about that. So are we ready to declare? I think we're ready to declare. We've got no cannons here. Where are my cannons? Are both of my cannons in the other army? That's fine. So, let's do this. We're declaring on England. We are going to make the active effort to basically get over here. And we're going to move you guys as well. It's going to be fine. We'll have a little bit of attrition penalty from that, but it's fine. We just won this fight, and these guys cannot get to Mali, right? Okay. So, merge these up. We're moving these guys into Arguin so that we can take this port. Once we've got this port under our control, it looks like they do have their ships out to sea. Their ships are not actually where I would expect them to be. France has taken London. There's no way that France isn't going to piece them out soon. So that does mean that they're just going to have the Castilian excuse me? A crusade was just called against me? That's certainly interesting. I wouldn't have anticipated that. Considering that I'm not in any... Like, I'm barely in Abrahamic land, much less Christian land. So, the crusade mechanic has changed. I don't think there would have been any mechanism by which they could have called a crusade on me before. We're going to pop in here. We're going to wait a month in here, I guess. Why are you still showing... Thinger? That's weird. Alright, are these guys on the boats? Yes. So, we're moving the boats. And where do we want to move them? We want these guys to pop straight into English territory. And my hope is that the French will not peace out before I can get my troops over there. I don't have any heavies in this army. This army is a completely vulnerable army right now. Or fleet, rather. The entire army is vulnerable because the fleet is completely vulnerable. So we're going to pop into probably Leinster? Here's the Castilian Navy. So it looks like Leinster has been taken. This is under siege currently. So we're going to make landfall in Carmarthen. And we're going to hope that the French army, or the rebels, whichever, wipe the British Navy, or wipe the British Army. There's the British Navy. The British Navy is getting chunked by the Castilian Navy. Woo! Get in there. There we go. So we've now got in there, and as soon as we take control of this, we will once again have some good control here. There are a lot of frickin' things going on in this fight. Okay, so we've reached Newfoundland. We're popping onto the capital, which is what we claimed, right? Yes. And our goal now is basically I wish I could see what was adjacent to me right now. Let's see here. The English army is no longer existent. They've basically lost their whole army. So this guy is traveling to somewhere. These guys are popping into port. There's no reason for them to stay out there. And we can now try to siege this down. Canamar is now self-sustaining, and that should mean that we're pretty close to that. And I think I should probably send somebody over here somewhere if possible. I don't really need to care about that province, honestly. Do I want to... Do I want to start up Colonial Columbia? I think I do. We're going to start up Colonial Columbia. It's going to be great. Okay. The other thing that I could do... I could try to I could just diplo-vassalize these guys if I wanted. Can I diplo-vassalize them? No, not easily. I could go in and annex them. I'm gonna recall. This is a really trash province. Can't send to here because this is on the other coast. You know what? We are gonna just send somebody here. It's fine. Let's see here. Next on our agenda is fabricating a claim on something over here. And we can figure out what we want to do. The problem with having a crusade called against me is I am very concerned that they're going to actually do something about it. Is there a way to get sailors? Okay, we have 14,000 troops, and we really need to get our troops. We can't get more troops until we get our other business going, which sucks. I'm glad that we brought 14,000 over. I guess we could get these. These troops are probably going to be easier to get to. So we got a breach here. I probably should have paid for the breach, to be honest. But on the plus side, I am going to finish up my thing. Need 400 sailors to... Jeez. And yeah, it does look like the rebels are unfortunately going to be largely dealt with by the French. And that is when things get a little bit dangerous for me, because now they have the ability to rebuild that army. Do they have the ability to do anything with their navy? Probably not, is my guess. My guess is probably not. But if they can rebuild their army quickly enough... Oh, can I? I can take out a loan and get some frickin' mercs over here. I've taken a province. Interesting. Alright, so that's something that I can consider if I need to... if I feel like I'm in danger here. I'm not going to feel like I'm in danger until I'm already fucked, though, so... Not necessarily the wisest way to deal with this, but I need one of you to get good luck. Get a good frickin' tick here. Come on, do it. I believe in you. On the plus side, they do still have their peasant armies just going all over the place. The French Navy is still fucking around here, but they're blockading who? No? I'm confused. Why are the French still blockading? They're no longer at war with the French, allegedly. but the French are still blockading. So Castile is now taking territory over Newfoundland. That's interesting. We've taken this siege, and we can now start... we can actually split this army in half, send half there, send the other half up to here. And we've now got 3% war score. This fleet is recovering so slowly because I just don't have any sailors. I need to take this fort and get it done. If I can take control of this fort, then I have basically free reign. England has no army, still. So I don't know what's going on with England, but for whatever reason, they haven't rebuilt their army. Maybe they can't. They don't have any manpower, so they can't build normal troops. They can't just build mercs the way that you would build them in the past. They have to hire like whole things. So we've just won the siege of Montgomery. I think it might be time to... We might take more than I had anticipated here. I was thinking I was going to be in like a really serious race against time here. But it looks to me like that is not the case. We're going to pop over here. And we're going to make the attempt. Interesting. Cool. Why not? Oh, fuck my life. That was something that I should have anticipated. So, on the plus side, we are on the defensive, but this is going to be rough. We actually have the ability to peace out, technically, so... So I cannot actually take this province anyway. So here's a question. I can take Cornwall. I can actually take any of their provinces. I have sufficient colonial range to get anywhere over here. If I do this, it's going to piss the fuck off of the Europeans. Taking London would be really funny. It's only 64 to take that? Nice. Let's see here. So which province should I take? Why am I able to take this? I shouldn't be able to record this. I can take actually way more than I would have anticipated. I can take 2 provinces over here, which is basically what I was hoping to take. I don't know, why can't I court you? I can just take their fort on its own, apparently, which I can then form Wales out of. I can form Wales out of Montgomery, because I can just take it. And if I take this and then I form Wales, then I have the ability to do Reconquest for Wales. Which would be good. And that means that I don't have to deal with this because I'll be black flagged instantly. Anything else that I want to do? This is only 10. So... I could take this as well. I mean, basically, with this, I can only take 4 because they didn't, the Castilians already showed up here. So, I think this is probably going to be good value. So this is probably the best bet value I'm going to get. I can basically take control of... do I want Gloucester? It's a trade port, but I guess there's not really much reason to take it. I could take that. I could take this instead, maybe, of Gloucester. Let's see if I can take that instead. I can. If I take this, I can create Wales, and then I can move these guys over. It'll be fine. So these guys are going to be slightly. Look at this freaking aggressive expansion. Slightly annoyed with me, but I'm sure it'll be fine. We do not need to core any of this stuff ourselves, and we'll have taken a chunk out of England. I can't do. I need to take a coastal province that's adjacent here. I cannot take Montgomery without taking it. I need a coastal province so that I can actually move my troops in. So taking these two would be troublesome. Unless I don't take... I would need to click off 2 of these, it looks like. If I take off 2 of these, I can actually take 2 separate fortifications off of the Brits. And if I take both of these fortifications... This isn't a nation, is it? This is a frickin' Northumberland! Oh ho ho! You know, I could cancel my alliance with Mombasa. Nah, I'm not gonna cancel my alliance with Mombasa. Yeah, I think this deal is probably going to be best value for money right here, and I might actually want to core this myself rather than give it to a vassal. All right, let's do it. So we're taking these. It's only going to cost us 29 Diplo power. It gets us a port in the region, which is nice. And can I somehow core this? So why am I able to take this? Can I core this if it's in a trade province or something? Either way, we are done. These guys are now black flagged. We need to make sure that we take them to the right location. They need to go over here so that they can actually get to where they need to be. Pop over here, and we are going to create Wales. I can set France as a rival, but that seems a little silly to me. Do I want to create... I'm trying to figure out what I want to do about this. So I only have 1 relation slot open. I have the ability, if I want, to just sit on this and not release it, but not core it. I think I'm going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to release Wales as a vassal. So we're releasing Wales as a vassal. We are not going to release the other people as a vassal quite yet. We have this to core. This to core. And pop over here. So these guys are heading to there. That's great. We've got... I should annex somebody. I don't want to annex you. I'm going to annex Bonaman. That seems to... This is very cheap. So let's do this. This will be done within a year. It'll take less time to finish annexing Bonamon than it would take to actually core Northumberland. Let's see here. Who else do we want to work on? Oh, the other thing. I have a bunch of territory up here. Can I fabricate on anything useful? I should have fabricated on this while I had the chance. This is... Interestingly enough, this particular chain of stuff that I got claims for isn't actually that useful. Do I want to... Oh, you know what? I should have just stolen their maps. I'm gonna wait and steal their maps instead of making another claim. The next war is going to be a reconquest war. We're going to reconquest for both of these people, and that'll be great. I suspect that the English are going to be basically out of the game at this point. They have another war to deal with Castile. Oh, I forgot to take this province. I forgot to take this. It's not a big deal, but it's a moderate-sized deal. And let's see here. We now have Portugal to deal with. We have the ability to declare on Portuguese Mexico, and we might as well... declare for this. Except I don't have any sailors. So how am I going to fight them? I mean, I've got 10,000 troops here, along with this gigantic swarm of things. Technically speaking, I could... I technically could just fight them on land and just take as much of this shit as I can get. This is 50% cost for this conquest stuff, and they're not very strong. Their army is pretty... It's like a total size is actually not that tiny. But legitimately speaking, I don't know how their power projection is going to work. Like, even like from a naval perspective, obviously my navy is completely weak and pathetic, but as soon as I see their ships, they don't have enough ships to have them in multiple places at once, really. So I have 26 ships. I think I might want to just do this. We can make the declaration, and that'll be great, I think. So we're going to take control of this stuff. Barado is pretty easy. And let's make this declaration. And we are currently at war with just these people. It looks like Castile did, in fact, not join the war. And we can bring back these armies. These are Black Flag. We can walk them all the way back. These guys, if we give them a conquistador, can walk them all the way back. That way we don't have to worry about bringing the navy to bear. So they have this fleet up here. We have the fleet up here. So the question is... Oh, as Cambry has fingered. And let's do it. So we've now got another colonial nation, and we are going to actually start continuing in the Gulf of St. Lawrence, I guess? Question mark. Do I want to do that? There's more territory up here to conquer from the Europeans. Let's do this. Let's send a colonist right here. This is pretty decent territory. Rather than have to do proper conquest. So we are behind technologically. Hey, is that their boats? These are Home separatists. And I should just send these guys down here. I have vassals to deal with this situation. So we have 8 ships over here. I'm going to move these guys over here, actually. I don't know where their army is. But I do know that they don't have much of one, so just pop these guys over to Brido. It's the actual war goal. And let's see here. We are not going to be able to release Northumberland for a while. What else do we have to do? So Castile is fighting with some tiny number of troops against the army of Newfoundland. You guys are actually here, because it turns out that I need the Conquistador for both armies, because I accidentally unblack flagged myself. So, I'm gonna go with floating batteries. Floating batteries is very powerful. So, ticking war score is going in my direction. It looks like Mexico is fighting against the Caraibas Navy. And we've got an army here. Woo! Who needs your own navy when you have minions, right? I'm not sending these guys out. Oh my goodness. That is suicide. We're definitely not sending them out. Let's see here. You guys are going to pop down here. We've now got 3% war score. We don't need very much war score to accomplish our objectives here. So I think, can I get you to... I can get them to concede both of these for only the low price of 45% war score. If I can actually accomplish that during this war, that would be freaking amazing, actually. That would be such a huge deal. Because, like, I think that's an insane thing to get. These guys are actually really far away. Do I want to try... Because I can see their navy. They have 13 ships right over here, but they don't have their heavies here. So never mind, we are definitely not going to do that. So these guys are moving over here. I don't know what just happened. Yeah, the Portuguese fleet is fighting against the Congolese Mexico fleet. Interestingly enough, the Congolese Mexico fleet had the advantage in terms of actual military vessels. And it looks like the Portuguese army is showing up over here to get involved. We're going to just jump in on them. We don't want them to meet up with their other troops. We're going to send these guys up here. Belize is no longer... Oh shit, I lost Conquest against them. Now, because none of this is conquered territory, this is all like colonized territory, I shouldn't have to worry too much about having problems with overextension. There shouldn't be any overextension issues from this. So, we just won this siege. So we're now at 9% war score. And what else do we need? And I can literally just plop people down to get into fights with these colonizers. This is glorious. So actually we can see the entire Portuguese fleet right now. The entire fleet is right here. I can pretty much see everything that they have. So Portugal, navies. They have 31 total ships. They have a stack of 13 and a stack of 15. They don't have any ships elsewhere. They have their heavies are somewhere, but 2 heavies are not going to be able to take out 26 ships. So what we're going to do is we are going to drop our troops in Portugal Because, let's take a look at the Portuguese army right now. Portugal has a total of 20,000 troops, actually, so we might be in danger by putting these troops down here. It'll depend. I saw them drop some troops off over here, and I don't know how many are here versus on the mainland. But, if I can actually jump in here quick and take control of even just Porto, I can hypothetically build a mercenary regiment in Porto, just get some mercs going, and have that be how we handle this. So we are going to drop in here. We're losing so many troops to the attrition. This might have been a really bad idea. We're doing it anyway. I'm sure it'll be fine. What's the worst that could happen? Dropping in on Porto. Ooh, a combination for Thingers. Ooh, plus 40%. Nice. And we have an extra settler. Boo frickin' yeah. We have no sailors, because of course we have no sailors. And we have another colonial region to... I think I should try to get to Peru. Let's just try to get somebody on the tip here. And is their navy still... Their navy is still blockading Mexico. So with their navy blockading Mexico, their navy is not actually doing anything terribly useful. So they do have this little baby navy over here. Once I take control of Porto, I'll be able to basically use that as a staging ground. I don't necessarily do too much. You have 9% attrition redundancy, so get the fuck out of there. Yep. So, unfortunately, this doesn't increase my supply thing. Why do they have... Oh, they're at home waters, but they have... There's no sailors. Should not have done that. We should actually leave these guys out because we don't want to encourage them to move their fleet. They'll suffer a little bit of attrition, but it's fine. So we've now got 19% war score, and I don't know where their army... Oh, Portuguese noble rebels! That's kind of convenient, question mark. Portugal has hired a mercenary company. Do I want to just hire a merc? I could hire some mercs. Do I have any mercs that I can afford? I don't really have any like solid mercs that I can afford where it's just like, okay, well this is just 8,000 troops that will just do this. So it looks like we're going to lose control of a lot of this stuff. But we're losing control of it to rebels. So let's see how this goes. Oh shit, what am I capped on? I'm capped on... Oh, this gives me a warning when I'm close to the cap. Oh, that's so good of you. Thank you. I can't start annexing people during war, right? So, since I can't start annexing during war, what do I have as a means of getting rid of some low power? I don't want to... I don't want to do this right now. It's a lot to spend. So, let's see. Let's go with Abyssinian Bargain Cavalry. And let's see, what else do we want to do? We're not going to take control of Caraibas right this second. One thing that we could do, let's take a look at our stuff. If we just have them concede Mexico, we might have an easier time of it. And we're not actually in Lisboa yet. I'm going to go ahead and move these guys over. I'm going to have them arrive on the 1st if possible. And we're going to see, I have 20% war score. Can I transition the 20% war score that I've got into 25% or something like that? That's 29% war score. Jesus. And that would allow me to actually just take Caraibas from them. So that I could just make them concede me the entire Caribbean in one fell swoop. If I had them do this, then Caraibas ceases to exist, so they don't give a shit. Is this how I want to handle this? Because if I try to get Mexico as well, I'm going to have to do a lot more work than I've already done. Whereas, and also, if I just leave Mexico, I have a really clear casus belli that I can use whenever I damn well please. I think I'm going to do this. We're going to have them concede the Caribbean. This is 27% war score right here. And that's going to make the Caribbean a really powerful colonial nation for me. So we're going to do this. And we now have 9% of the power here. And we are doing nothing, which is good. We should, I guess, collect trade there since we're wasting our trade power that we have. But we have now taken a fight against Portugal and a fight against England in really quick succession, actually. We are close to the cap. We don't want to spend it on that stuff, though. So we can make Denmark arrival, question mark. Oh my god, opinion of heretics minus 80? But I'm not a heretic. Interesting. I'm a heathen. I'm not a heretic. But whatever you say. So I guess I can set Austria as a rival. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I can try setting Denmark as a rival. It probably won't fuck me. Okay, so the next thing on the list is that we still have this just sitting here. We now have 7 out of 8 diplo relations, which means that we can comfortably create Northumberland. They will get Northumberland. Everything's great. They will follow the Anglican faith. And there we go. Maybe it's because I have vassals of a different religion. That might be it. So, Pedrero is, I guess we're going to go with. Doesn't really matter. The one tick on defensive doesn't actually do anything for the general usage case of cannon. Okay, so we have 11 income right now. We have too much Diplo income, in fact. I am ready to transition you to probably administrate, but this evens out the two of them. I guess we'll actually leave it like this, because otherwise we'll have way too much admin, because I'm not going to be coring anything. Do we have way too much admin if we do that? Yeah, we're almost done with expansion ideas. Yeah, it's fine. So what do we want to do? We have 2 Diplo slots free. I could start annexing Mali and Mosi if I want. Do I want to start annexing these two? I think I might want to. Yeah, I think I'm going to annex these two. I don't think I can actually diplo-vassalize Noop, because I think I have Noop territory. So they can't be diplo-vassalized because I have some of their cores, unfortunately. So that means I am going to have to go in on them aggressively at some point. Oh, actually, Mali's the one that has the claims here. So I don't have a truce with you anymore, do I? I do still have... I have a truce with you still? I've done all this fucking shit and I'm still got a truce with you? Songhai is... I think I'm going to annex Songhai. I can't annex them because it's been too... Okay. I don't want to annex them. I don't think I can annex Makua. Oh, I can. I don't have to have a thing near them? Do I want to annex Makua? I think I'm going to annex Makua. I don't think I need them anymore. They're not going to be doing anything too valuable for me. They do act as a buffer so that Kilwa can't get my institutions, but it's not that important. I'll be able to come in against them soon. So we have +4, so we do need to annex 2 of our vassals at the same time to maintain equilibrium here. And who is another good choice? I guess we can just do Mali, because they're the only ones that... And you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to click this button. I'm not going to click this button yet. I'm going to wait until we're a little closer to done. I'm going to wait until we're about 50%, then I'll do that. Interestingly enough, Castile is obliterating England right now, so England is going to basically be dropped off the map completely. No, I don't want to do this. I want to steal their maps. We're going to steal their maps of... where? Do I have troops? Oh, shit! Oh, shizbiz! Oh, shizzle-fizz! Actually... I completely forgot about this. Okay, let's see. So yeah, we can steal their maps of... where? I guess we could steal their maps of... Iberia if we want. Yeah, let's steal their maps of Iberia. Because I feel like if I have vision of Iberia, that'll make my life a lot simpler. Because I'll be able to see like what the situation is going on here. It looks like Castile is... What are they even declaring war for? I'm so confused about what's going on here. But that's fine. We are ready to go. We have a negative diplomatic income. And we are ready. All of our peeps are on the boats. And we can send them back up to Northumberland, which has a rank 3 fort. France just declared me as a rival, which is fine. It's totes fine. And we didn't set them as a rival, but that's okay. I'm actually pretty close to being able to get an alliance with the Ottomans, which is kind of funny. Now then, I don't think that France is going to have a casus belli against us. Castile... Oh, actually, everyone has a casus belli against me, don't they? Wasn't there a crusade called against me or something? Uh-oh. Let's see here. You guys can actually collect trade, because we got a new person when we got all this territory. How's our unrest? No unrest to speak of. Life is good. So Portugal has given us all of their delicious life's blood, and we can use it to very good effect. So these guys are just going to chill here. Hopefully, these guys decide that it's a good idea to give Northumberland its territory back or some such nonsense, because that would make my life easier. And we are going to leave these boats just hanging out here, crying at my lack of sailors. These guys are just going to chill over here, and what else do we need to do? Oh, naval supplies. That seems very useful. That seems very good. I'm very happy to have that. Now then, Amazons. Whoa. Let's not do that. And let's see here. We got 50 admin power for free. Let's see. Hunter out again. It's fine. Now then, what else do we want to do? I guess we're probably going to want to steal another map. We could steal their map of England proper if we want. We could also... I think we should steal their maps of Scandinavia. Stealing their maps of Scandinavia will probably be the most valuable thing to do. These guys need... I can't drill because this is not technically my province. Shite. Okay, fine. You guys can drill then. I can't drill in colonial provinces, unfortunately. So we haven't gotten the namesake of this stream done yet, but we'll go after Cornwall once we can. And there's no fortifications in England anymore. There's just London itself. Are you guys? Okay, you are moving. I didn't see the arrow because it's so tiny. And let's see here. What are we doing here? Cuba, it has expanded substantially. We've already fought and won a war against Portugal. Take action. And we have a considerable amount of inflation. How are we doing on this stuff? Oh, yes! Brazil. I need to be... shit. Well. I lose some money and prestige, but I gain both loyalty and reduce their influence, which is very powerful. So we're going to keep this. We're going to actually get rid of the clergy's land rights. But I guess maybe not quite yet. We're first going to do this because we can do that to everybody. And if we do this, it'll drop them by 20 loyalty. We'll wait for them to get a bit higher first. We've now got over 40% of the land as we start moving into the next age. Next thing on my agenda is once I get rid of enough of my peeps here, I'm actually going to try to get an alliance with Brittany, because Brittany I can eventually diplo-annex maybe, but in addition to being able to potentially diplo-annex them later, I'll be able to do some other things as well. So... next year, I'll be able to pick up Man of War. That'll be a pretty nice boost, and it'll get me out of the danger zone for my Diplo power, which is very good. We have another new merchant. So we have a merchant here. Do we want a merchant in... I can't put a merchant in Mexico because life is sad. Let's see here. Oh, you know where I could put a merchant? Where I technically have some trade power. Do I have any trade power? I do not, actually. I don't have any trade power here. I could, if I wanted, have transfer trade power relationships with Wales and Scotland. Or is that not Scotland? Northumberland. So, Northumberland and Wales. Wales actually has 16% Liberty Desire already. Why are they so negative of me? Oh, they have a very low opinion of me just from a religious perspective. It's because of the people are... For some reason, as the Protestant Reformation is raging through Europe, they are upset with things. So if I do a divert trade with them, then I would get how much trade? Do I want to do that? Because then I could just collect here in the English Channel. So Wales has what percent? They have a very small percentage of this. Oh, also, Scotland is available for my conquest. Does Scotland have colonies? They do, right? Scotland has colonies. So, if I actually just put a colony here, I get the colonialism casus belli against Scotland. And then I can actually just have them feed all of those over to my colonial nation as well. But I don't think I should declare war on any more European powers for a while. I think I should focus on other peeps. We can go ahead and steal a map. We don't need any more claims over here, I don't think. Let's do this. Get access to full vision over England itself. I think that'll be pretty useful for us. How are you guys doing? They are going to... I'm just going to leave these guys in port forever because it's... My sailor generation is so terrible. It's so terrible. Hopefully I'll get more sailors. Do I get more sailors out of my colonial nations or do I just get forced limit? I thought I got sailors out of it. So we are no longer ahead of time on Diplo. So, fun fact, as long as you're ahead of time in something, you will never lose innovativeness from being behind neighbors. You can lose innovativeness from having your techs be too different from each other. I think they have to be like 3 apart or something like that to get a penalty from that. But you will no longer have to worry about the other stuff. So we can do this. They are allied with Coits. This is perfect. So we're just going to declare on this. This is going to be pretty easy to do. God damn it. I just lost some admin power. Where are your allies? This is a problem. I can't actually get in there. I wonder if I'll be able to get in there if... Huh. So we can't actually move our army over to get involved here because we don't have military access. Oh, you know what I can do? Where is this conquistador? So he's fucking around over there. We're going to bring the conquistador over, and that allows us to just pop across. And we've now cored this. Our conquistador is dead. Okay, well, that's fine. We got to the other side of the thing first, and that's the important business. So now that we're over here, unfortunately we don't really have any way of getting anywhere. We can't actually help with this. But we can put this guy in charge. And how are we on military? It would be very, very nice to get matchlock musket. That's going to be a very important tech. So I think we're going to just split this army in half. And we only have 1 cannon here. I'm going to need to start building a few more artillery as well. Looks like Congolese Mexico is doing their business. Production efficiency increase is all good. And how are we doing? Oh, I actually can move through here. I didn't realize that. Okay, so I can apparently go around now. I must have gotten military. Yeah, I got military access from here. Okay, so these guys are fucking around. They're actually black flagged now, so I can just bring them home. So we're gonna bring these guys back down to Congolese Mexico. That'll allow me to have 27,000 troops in this area. The Trade League of Venice has been disbanded. And Northumberland's army is... What is the supply limit? Supply limit here is 24. I don't know why Northumberland's got troops just chilling over here. You guys are gonna get your army wiped out by peasant rebels for no reason at all. That is seriously what's happening right now. I'm using 0 sailors on missions. So apparently, like, the ships that are most not injured are the ones that are getting priority here or something. So, rank 8 military, no big deal there. We should be able, I think, to take all of this, which is actually only 56% overextension. That's really not that bad. And it looks like this nation over here is also involved. So these guys are going to go take this. I'm going to just get my troops together and then we're going to do it. I'm not going to keep advancing, but that's fine. Let's see. Unfortunately, looks like these guys are going to successfully siege this down before I get there. That's bad. I shouldn't be allowing them to accrue this much war exhaustion. The war exhaustion is really going to hurt the stability. My hope is that I can finish this and get over here in time, but I don't think I will. I think this is probably not going to tick, but it did. So we have the opportunity now to dive in here. 7%, it's going to tick. Nope, okay. So I think they're going to get one more tick before... Oh! All of our truces have just expired in Africa. So, Joloff, you are allied with everybody. Let's see here. I'm about to finish with Kua, but I'm not about to finish with Mali. I could... Mosi has this claim on Gen again. So... do I want to declare on Gen? So it would be Joloff and Katsina and Jean versus my gigantic swarm. I apparently still have a truce with them for one more year. So next year I'll go in after them. This is gonna be fine. Hey! Oh, and look at that. At 14%, it fucking surrendered. And there we go. So, let's take a look here. We cannot take all of this. If I take everything except one province, they'll allow me to do that. So I think I'm going to take all of this. This is easy, and it doesn't require that I do any more sieging. It doesn't quite get my nation integrated together, but that's fine. Let's see here. Does everybody know that I exist yet? No, Teotihuacan still doesn't know that I exist. But it doesn't really matter because I don't have all this stuff carpet sieged, so it's fine. We can't do the transfer, so we will have them revoke their core here. Do I want to force religion on their final province? I think I will. I'm going to have them force religion on this final province just because it'll automatically change over that. There we go. So we've got a massive amount of territory that we just took control of. I am actually going to wait for them to core it rather than go too crazy here, because the unrest here is actually sizable, and there's no reason to waste a bunch of manpower fighting rebels. I can actually click this button now, and we can now see the real costs. So we're at 88% with Makua. And do we want to start annexing somebody else? I can start annexing Songhai if I want. I'm going to start annexing Songhai. We are literally going to be just completely incapable of doing any diplomatic stuff for a while. We're going to have no wars, no nothing, and we're just going to have to figure out what to do. So it's gonna be great. You can go ahead and do this. No. Okay. So we've taken control of more territory. And we are about to get the discipline boost from this for Defend Against the Colonists, which is actually really appropriate because we are currently in the process of fighting all of the colonists. I mean, except ourselves. We don't count. We're the good colonists. That's how this is going. So anyway, I'm going to do a quick reminder now that we've got this period of peace that we are doing a charity stream today. We're raising money for the Bail Project, which is a project which is intending to sort of eradicate cash bail in the United States. It's a very good cause, and I think it's pretty cost effective. If you donate down below, you will be able to get me to do a variety of random things, mostly eating random fruit, but also including singing and a variety of other things. So I'm trying to do what I can to help right now because my country's on fire because of systemic corruption and racism and other various similar problems. So anyway, that's... Did the rebels just show up in my territory for some reason? That was weird. Let's see. I guess we should probably start improving our relations with Wales. We have a free policy available, so we can get global settler increase, and we can get global tariffs. And now we have to make the decision. We've got that done. Does that mean that we want to change our policy to trade? And I think it does mean that, yes. So where is that under? Here it is. Let's see. So native trading policy gives 50% uprising chance and 50% assimilation. This will reduce our stability by 1, and that's okay. We'll get a little bit of a stability drop, but hopefully we'll get other events to allow us to pump our stability back up to normal. So anyway, any help with the donations part of the stream will be very useful and very helpful because, again, my country's on fire because people decided that they wanted to be assholes for basically the majority of its history. So, we are continuing on with the murder. And, let's see, because murder should go along with every live stream, particularly the charity tape. And, let's see, we can get into a war with these guys, which will bring us in against their thinger. Do I want to do that? I wonder. We have access to another Diplo slot, and I can use that to either try to Diplo vassalize someone, or I can use it to get another vassal. I really need to get the diplomatic tree done so that I can get an additional thinger. I'll need another person so I can start fabricating claims all over this business. I just need the one claim over here, so I think I will actually fabricate a claim on Kilwa. Because if I get one province off of Kilwa here, like I just have to take this fort, just sit on the fort until I take it, and then I can take, I guess I could take the fort if I want. Potentially, I don't actually know. I was able to do it here, and I don't know why, but I don't think I'll be able to do it in Africa. I think it was a weird interaction of the fact that it's Europe. It was 22. Oh, right, for whatever reason, the rebels showed up in my territory. So England is still dealing with massive, massive unrest, with no sign of that slowing down. Do I want to get rid of this now? I feel like I do. I'm gonna get rid of this. I lose some manpower, but it's worth it to get ourselves one step closer to being ready for Thanger. We can get the clergy land rights purged off as well once we get up to 50. And our equilibrium is over 50 right now, so... So truce with Wales is over. And how are we do the rest of it? Actually, I should really be improving my relations with Wales right now. Nice. Well advised. Okay, I think those guys won't have any trouble dealing with that situation. And Mali's taking forever. It's tempting to just conquer Joloffe for them, but I'm not going to yet. Alright, what other stuff can we do here? We actually still have a claim on you, but we actually have to wait until later to do that. So October of 46, we can declare war on Jean and take a shit ton of territory for ourselves and Mosi, because we actually have 2 claims in Katsina, who is one of their allies, I believe, right? Yeah, Katsina and Joloffe. So we can hypothetically also get these guys dealt with. But yeah, the key is taking this 22 development province right here and taking a bunch of territory off Katsina. Let's keep doing that. They're going to be Congolese. Alright, these guys are down here now, ready to go. Interesting, Mombasa has shrunk. They must have ended up in a war with these guys. So that's interesting timing. I'm actually going to cancel this for right now because I have other things that are needed to get done. I can potentially... first of all, we should probably just declare this war. I think this war is basically going to go on autopilot. They have a total of 19,000 troops, and I have way more than that just in my vassals. So I think we should be able to pretty much just leave it to the vassal swarms to deal with. And Joloffe is actually almost unwilling to do it. They're almost unwilling to join the war. But we're just going to do this. Should I have set Katsina as co-belligerent? Probably not, because then I'd be prodded against Noob. I want to fight Noob separately. So, we can now... Because we've got Mombasan separatists over here. And what I actually want to do is get my relations with Mombasa high enough. I can't get a royal marriage with them. But if I don't need a royal marriage in order to get this done. I just need to have good enough relations. So if I can get Influence Nation and other stuff going, I think I should be okay here. So royal marriage with Mosi has ended, and I don't actually have the ability to send any diplomats anywhere, so I'm not going to worry about it right now. We are going to keep leaving our ships in port for now because I'm going to need them for warfare later. And how are we doing on coring? There's no progress on coring right now. Holy shit. Did they just get an admin tech or something? Uh-huh. So all this stuff is cored. That's good. You're gonna core anything that I have given you? At some point? Okay, I actually have 2 settlers I need to start sending out. Where do I want to send them? I think I'm going to send them to Canada. If I can start popping into these pawns over here, that'll be useful. So, yeah, I only have 3 provinces, so if I get 2 provinces, that'll be good. Oh, these guys are actually in my territory. I don't like that one bit. Alright, well, On the plus side, I actually do have the ability to bring these guys back now. I didn't want to, but... Okay. So we just got some stability and some local autonomy. We can now get Wandering Shamans. I lose 50 administrative power, but I get Wandering Shamans for the entire rest of the game, which gives me +2 missionary power, which is a pretty huge deal. I don't know how important it's going to be for me. I think I'm probably going to be swapping over to a republic. So I'm probably going to be a humanist republic. I am really just sitting on these troops at this point. Let's see here. You are doing what? You're doing nothing. Are you supposed to be doing something? I guess you should be doing this. And seriously, you're not coring anything, right? Why is nothing being cored? Okay, I have serious concerns about that situation. And I accidentally wiped their navy. So you come over here. So I have 14,000 troops on the transports. It's not amazing, but we're gonna jump into this. Oh, I probably should have had a general, huh? I mean, they get the penalty for this stuff, but still. Okay, these guys are gonna go over here. And the hope here is that... Nice. The hope here is that I don't actually have to worry about any of the other stuff for a while. Also, it looks like Mali is about to get integrated, which will help me out a bit, because then I'll have these troops. How are we doing on army? My force limit is immense, so... That's great. These guys are going to split off. Let's see, peace offer from Joloff. Okay. I don't really have any reason to be at war with them. I would actually want to do a white peace, technically, but it's fine. I'll do this. It's going to lead to a longer truce timer, but that's not that big a deal. So, Mali is coming close to being finished. I'm currently improving my relations with Mombasa. Once I get them high enough, I'll be able to diplo-vassalize them. Once I can diplo-vassalize them, I can actually get a Reconquest Casus Belli against Kilwa for quite a lot of territory. Our truce with England is over? That was fast. Oh shit, I have way better things to be doing than fucking around with over here. So, England. Hey, how's it going? How many troops do you have? E is for England. England has 5,000 troops. How's your navy, England? I legitimately, it didn't even occur to me that that would be ending this quickly. England has literally no navy. Quite literally, they do not have a navy. There's nothing stopping me from bringing my troops over whenever I damn well please. We're just going to declare, because we have 2 forts here, and they have no allies, they have no nothing. So we're just going to, I guess we'll wait until we finish the annexation of Mali. That's going to take a couple more months. And we can start getting our troops over there, I guess. Yeah, I think we're going to move these troops I was planning on having these troops fuck around over here. We're going to just use the Mali troops for that. It's fine. We'll be able to control the Mali troops soon. We're going to get morale of armies, +1. Yahoo! And by +1, I mean +10%. +1, +10. You know, same frickin' difference. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to pop these guys over here. And we're at 43% war score now. We could actually just peace out with them, but we need to take this siege first. Once we've got this siege, we should be able to get what we want out of Katsina as well. So these guys actually... Oh, actually, are these guys popping into my territory? Yes, they are. So we're going to immediately just jump these guys. Then we will get them on the boats to go back the other direction. So I don't know why they decided it was a good idea to do this, but it's very convenient for me as someone who would like for them to not have an army. Okay, and we've now got the Mali army. We can move them here. In fact, you know what we can do with the Mali army? We can just move them down here. Just move all of my local troops over to there. There should be a stable government. Who needs stability? Stability is highly overrated. And that is not actually a lie. Stability is legitimately highly overrated. You need disruption. Disruption is required for a functioning government. You don't need continual disruption, right? But every now and then, you need to be willing to just burn the whole system to the ground, because otherwise you're not going to have a system that works. So, these are animist zealots. Not really something I need to worry about. We've won this siege, and we should probably be able to accomplish our objective. We cannot get our objective done yet. Hey, Cartagena! So we're just going to wait for this carpet siege to finish. It'll take a little bit, but it's not really a big deal. We're not really... Ooh, I don't like that. They're impertinent demand... Oh my god. So how long do we have on this? In 2 years, we'll be able to declare on Portugal again. And we'll be able to just take Portuguese Mexico, I guarantee it. I don't think there's any chance that we're not able to do that. Northumberland. I really feel like you just don't want to spend any time in your own territory for some reason. It's a little confusing and weird to me. Okay, we're going to remove this clergy boost. We do have a slight problem that... What is our equilibrium with you guys? The equilibrium is 60%, but it's ticking up so slowly that it's really making it hard to get the merchants under control. And we've got this at basically 100% now. So let's take a look here. So we have the ability to do this, and we can take this, this, and this, and then we can take... Why does this... Oh, because I'm not... The wrong people have it, so give this to Mosi. And the other one was over here, right? Let's give this to Mosi. So... Mosi does not have a claim on this, unfortunately, so... So that is actually a 94% peace offer. 70 aggressive expansion? Jesus Christ. You know, it turns out there's a really big difference between Reconquest and Conquest. Do we want to take all of this? That's a lot of entities that can join this. Shu will actually join, which is suboptimal. I do not want to have to get into a coalition that includes like half of it. I should have set Katsina as co-belligerent, it looks like. I can just not take this, I guess. If I don't take this, then we have a completely manageable amount of aggressive expansion from this. And we still have a claim on Katsina at that point. Actually, if we do this, we also have... It doesn't really change our ability to fabricate claims over here. So let's just do this. This is fine. And we will, in fact, core this ourselves. So the clergy gains 15 loyalty. That's great. And we can core this and core this. And how are we doing on our estates? So we could actually remove one of these again. I don't think I want to remove the New World missions yet. We've started reining in the clergy already. And I think that we have reined them in sufficiently for this particular moment. I'm going to want to... Oh, actually I can summon the Diet. That'll give me 5% with everyone, and that will actually allow me to take one of these off of the merchants. So let's summon the Diet. If I get the merchants, I can get... If I get 40% of the trade in Jamaica... Lolo... What is the Shire? Oh. Weird. Okay. So this would give me a claim on Kongo. This would be very beneficial if I can accomplish it. Jamaica Channel. I don't know how I would accomplish this. I guess I could potentially get more trade off of my thinger. I'm actually going to take this. We're going to see if there's an easy way to accomplish this. Oh, I can press sailors. Oh, that's actually really useful. Okay. So, I don't see a way to take more than half of the stuff from Cuba, which means that functionally what we need is to get the Caribbean. We need to basically have Cuba controlling a good portion of the stuff there. I think if I enable embargo, then that might actually do quite a bit, because all of the... Whoa, that jumped up to 31%. So that's useful. So we're 31% now. So, anything else that we can do to start seizing more control here? We actually do, because we could upgrade some of our centers of trade here. Like, Havana doesn't have a marketplace. I'm actually going to start building some stuff here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to not do this, apparently. So let's just build a bunch of trade shit, and then hopefully in a year, I now have a total of that much. Because the more provincial trade power I have... Okay, so these guys are here in England now. We are all set. So England has no navy. That's great. And England has what for an army? England... 5,000 troops. We can declare war of reconquest. We can pull in all of these provinces. And it's going to be great. So Cumbria is going to be the war goal. And it's over for England, basically. So we've finished our colony here. We are going to just send a colonist up here. And that is good. And in a couple of years, we're going to be able to go in against Portugal again. And we're going to want to do that eventually. These guys, we're going to basically just bypass. We don't want to get too close to the peasants. So instead, what we're going to do is we are going to go... There we go. We're going to basically dive London, I think. I should have probably waited on that, but it's fine. So we can now go to Chester. I'm actually... London currently has a siege on it, so I might be able to get a really fast siege on London. We're going to go and blockade London, see how that goes. It looks like we have to actually get a better frickin' army here. Okay, it looks like the British army has decided, or the English army rather, are they bankrupt or something? Are they literally bankrupt? Let's see here. They are literally bankrupt. Interesting. They can't finish the job. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. That is so amazing. Such a tiny army and they just couldn't do it. So France has actually got some English separatists fucking around over here. There's more English separatists than there are English, actual military folk. We will be popping over here. I don't think... Alright. So they're actually building a bunch of troops. They have no way to actually use those troops against me because they really can't fight at all. They can, I guess, take out, little bits and pieces. But actually, if they lose the fort in London, I don't even need to take London. I don't need to take a fort from them. Do I want to go chase down that army? I think I do. I'm going to chase down their army before their bankruptcy wears off. These guys are in a very dangerous position right here. And we do not need to take a fort right now. They are running into Scotland. Oh my god, they lost all of Ireland. Ireland has just sort of exploded into, all of its respective component parts. That's pretty cool. But yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm basically just going to have to wait. Actually, these guys are coming to Cumbria. If they go to Cumbria, I can dive in on them. Are they still bankrupt? Beep. They are no longer bankrupt, actually, so I do not want to just dive their army here. Do I want to dive their army anyway? They have a 6-0 general. I have way more everything than them, and I have them outnumbered. So yeah, let's dive them. So they're going to come into York. This is farmland, which is perfect. We can go ahead and get some free points here. Okay, we're chasing these guys down. I'm gonna consolidate our army together. Oh! They canceled their movement. So, we've caught them, and that is... Oh! London has fallen. London has fallen, and that means with no army left, and we don't have to worry about certain issues here, we're going to go ahead and just take control of as much territory over here as possible without having to fight their rebels. And we should be able to get this going very well for us. Actually, these guys are potentially going to have to fight the rebels. Let's do this. I don't want to move next to that army in London. So, how unhappy are you with the idea of continuing this war? Because if I can just get you to give me all of my cores back in one war that took about 14 seconds, then we'll be in really good shape. So I can have them revoke cores that they have in... I can't have them revoke their cores that they have from over here, it looks like. So, that's fine. We can have them pay our war reparations, but we can't accomplish that in a trivial manner. So, I think we're set here. Question mark. Do I have anything else to add to the list? I don't think so. Yeah. I think this is all of the cores. Yes, this is fine. Okay, we're set. We are done. And now, Northumberland and Wales make their glorious return onto the field. And we are in good shape. So, I guess we're going to need to... I should have checked, actually, if I could take a piece out of Cornwall. But it's not that big a deal right now. Okay, these guys can pop down here. And we now have another chunk taken from over here. So hopefully we can get this stuff dealt with. Let's take a look at our mission tree for... Where's our mission tree? There it is. Our Northumberland mission tree. Looks like they do not have a unique mission tree. How about Wales? Okay, so we're set then. So we've got how much stuff? We got 14,000 troops up here. We haven't used basically any of our manpower. We have 2 colonists who are not sent out for some reason. Let's go ahead and colonize Florida because I feel like Florida is clearly. No, I don't want to. I don't want to actually send you here. Never mind. We will send you to where? Let's take a look at the colonial region map. There we go. So, this is colonial Eastern America, and it looks like we've got everything in colonial Canada right now. So, let's start taking the Americas. Or, well, let's start taking the territory of specifically the United States of America, and we will create our own Eastern American thing. Shu, we don't have a claim on right now, I don't think. Have you cored anything? Okay, you have started to core stuff. You're painfully slow. Portugal, we have a... This is September of next year, so we are very close to being able to go after you. Mombasa, I forgot to do some things. So we are going to send a gift. You have to send a reasonably large gift. to them, and then we can influence nation. When we influence nation with them, we will be ready to vassalize them, I think. They will not join us, no, because of base tax difference. I thought that I was already ready for this. I think that something has changed since then. Well, shit. That means that I can't do this, yet. Okay, well. Next on the agenda is, I think, improving our relations with people like Wales. Northumberland is already maxed out, so I could annex them in 3 years if I want. Let's see here. I'm not sure if I want to, though, to be honest. I've already had a religious war called on me, and I don't necessarily want to keep antagonizing them by annexing those vassals before I'm ready. So we've got 2 claims over here. Mosi is... I need to improve my relations with Mosi. I'm going to need to annex Mosi at some point, and we can also, I guess... Hey, printing press! I forgot you were about to spawn, so... hey, Brittany, you getting printing press? 0.5 per month. That's kind of slow. So, anybody getting it faster than that? Actually, is my vassal getting it? Looks like at least one of my vassals is getting it. So what I'm looking for here is a nation that I can ally that'll get printing press quickly. And then I can transition it into a thinger later. Siena is interesting because they are a one-province minor. They are a member of the Empire still. So since they're still a member of the Empire, I'm not going to want to necessarily do it with them. Leinster is not getting printing press. I think we're going to do Brittany. Brittany seems to have pretty close to the highest that we've got available right now. So we're getting an alliance with Brittany, and that will basically allow us to expand our sphere of influence over time. But for this particular moment, it gives us some very nice benefits. Let's see here. I am going to go ahead and do this so that I can start getting my vassals to do their job. So England is now like frickin' tiny. Oh my goodness, look at that. So I am now over 1,000 development on by that metric. Obviously it only counts half of my subject development, which means that the total development that I've got available to me is pretty crazy, but it does count half of my vassals, so it means that it's not a great indicator of the exact amount of development that I have in the nation. So, I have... I didn't take that, I took the other thing. What was the other thing? Ah, yes. So, I now need... I'm at 35% here now. And it's pretty good. But 35% is not 40%. Portugal is like falling apart. Castile will not help them. France is defender of the Catholic faith and will protect Portugal. Interesting. If I were to declare on you, Defender of the Faith doesn't apply. Interesting. So Defender of the Faith doesn't apply if I declare on Portugal, if I declare on Portuguese Mexico itself. So we're going to declare on Portuguese Mexico later, once we get this truce timer up. So that's going to be September of this year. Actually, I should be getting ready. So these armies can accumulate in Hull, and I think I don't have anything important to do outside of going after Portugal. So Portugal has, this is quality comparison, not what I'm looking for. I am not paused. Portugal has 18,000 troops, and they actually have a way better navy. Yeah, they have a way better navy than me. So we are not going to do this quite that way. You guys are going to pop up north. And we are going to declare for Portuguese Mexico again. We should be able to get them to just cede the whole thing to us. And once we've got this ceded to us, we'll be in really, really solid shape in the Americas, with very little in the way of, like, things that can go wrong, I think. Hypothetically. So Venice's trade league just got disbanded again? Question mark. And we can wait, I guess, until the Portuguese army and navy, or just either one, I guess, shows up somewhere. So once they show up wherever they're going to show up on the map, then I'll basically be able to know where they're coming from and where they're going to be. That is with me doing this. Jeez, that is a lot of unrest. How is there unrest? It looks like they don't actually have very much, shockingly enough. Stability, who needs it? And let's see here. My maximum's only 1,800. Jeez. I definitely need to colonize more coastline. Let's see here. So Castile is starting to take control of the Cape of New Hope over here. That's a little bit dangerous. I'm going to go ahead and build this spy network here. And we can stop improving our relations with Mosi at some point soon. We are actually losing money right now. Oh my god, why do I have so much colonial maintenance? Do I have an extra colony? I do. I have an extra colony here. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and recall and abandon this colony and send these guys back to here. Do not know why that happened, but that was trouble. And there we go. Look at that. We have a massive amount of income again. Fancy that, if you actually do things correctly. I was like, wait, how is that possible? How could we have been discovered? We're below 25%. Okay, so we can take the colony of Borado. And I am just going to leave myself down here. I don't think I need these armies, so I'm not going to bother sending them. And these guys will split in half, actually. I guess I should have sent a leader, huh? Just a thought. And anyway, we've got 7 out of 8 relationships. We should probably start toning down the total number of relationships that we have. I really need to start impressing the merchants. They're just so close. Their equilibrium level is actually slightly lower than the thing now. Did I subsidize Cuba? I don't think I need to subsidize Cuba. They should have enough money to colonize to their heart's content. So I'm not going to worry about them. We're at 33% now. I wonder, if I change this guy to transfer trade power... I think I can do this. I'm going to do transfer trade power, and that might actually get me enough trade power here. Is that going to happen? It says 34%. Shouldn't I have substantially changed this math? Okay, so I guess never mind. We'll just collect from trade, it's fine. I feel like that should have had a bigger than 1% swing, but... what do I know? Why are you dying? Oh, what must have happened is the rebels from England must have walked in or something. I don't know why the rebels from England keep walking in. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so Congolese Mexico is doing their job. We've got the ability to pick up textile manufacturing. We have 1% penalty. We're going to click this button, get it done now. We have early modern administration coming. That'll give us state houses. And that's going to be a huge, huge benefit, actually. We've got 2% war score, and we can basically just sit on this war. I think. It looks like they have 28 ships just sitting here, doing basically nothing. So that's great. And let's see here. Oh, this is Portuguese Louisiana. So they have a Louisiana thing up here. So Portuguese Louisiana, I can just take control of this thing and core it, and then I will have a Louisiana colony to play with. That'll be very useful. So these guys are just chilling down here. They're kind of close, so I'm a little concerned, like, sending troops in. So we've got the ability to fabricate a claim down here now. Fabricate a claim on, I don't know, Zumbo. Sure, let's fabricate a claim on Zumbo. Okay, we don't need any more claims on them because we're planning on doing the other business instead. So, we can declare on you whenever we want. Mogadishu will be called in. Mombasa is not ready yet. I think they might have been if I had the thing available, but I don't, so. We are going to keep improving our relations with Wales, I guess. Oh! England gained some stability, so their internal conflicts are over, but their external conflicts are far from over. We've got a bunch of claims that are starting to sprout up from Northumberland. So we have claims from Wales. General Garcia will no longer serve us. That's not great. And we can just send these guys over here, I guess. I don't know why they did that. It's kind of weird. Do we want a conquistador? Yes. We're going to take a conquistador. We're not going to take a general yet. Looks like these guys just blew up their colony, which is like, okay, fine, but why though? And let's see here. We've got territorial cores on a good number of provinces now. It looks like they are pretty set here. They're finally starting to deal with the problems that they had. So Songhai is now cored. And we've got the ability, if we want, to... I think we're going to do it. We can't vassalize you because we have your provinces. We're going to start building a spy network over here. And we're going to just fabricate some claims. So we have Wales. At some point, we're going to have to go after Castile. And that's going to require that we have more sailors than we do today. But we're reaching the point, I guess, and we're reaching that point pretty quickly. We're reaching the point where our colonial nations are actually going to be so strong that they're going to be able to basically fight wars for me. Unfortunately, because I do not have a Louisiana colonial nation, that's gonna slow me down a bit here. Because I don't think I can do the seed region to me. Wait, that's weird. Where is the thing to cede Mexico to me? Noop has just claimed a province. Unacceptable behavior. You know what? We're gonna have to deal with that. And let's see, what else do we need to do? So, in terms of Thinger, we have 5 years before we are going to be doing that. We can actually invest in new technology and get... You know what? I'm actually going to do this. This is going to give me innovativeness. It costs me Diplo power, which I actually have a huge surplus of right now. And I think that surplus is going to be maintained. So, we're going to do that. And I guess, since I can't do what I want here, and I'm not sure why I can't. Oops. I just set something out when I needed to be doing my things. So, why can't I have them concede Mexico to me? This is very strange. Okay, well, whatever. So, we want to keep... So much aggressive expansion. The issue with doing it this way is that we get so much aggressive expansion. So was that because there's a fort? No. So how much of this is in this region? It looks like all of this stuff from this point forward is. So I can take... I don't have to take this stuff. I could take these 4, and then I could actually just conquer this province here and take that. Nope, can't take that one. I mean, I can, but it's not what I need. So we will take 5 provinces off of them here. That is 103 aggressive expansion. We're going to take this province here. And we can't quite do this yet. So Portugal will be willing to join a coalition against me off of this because of the fact that I do not have the thinger. So a die. So check. This is going to become part of me. Oh, this actually isn't part of the war goal, apparently. Oh, this is going to cost me a shit ton of it. Why is nothing part of the war goal? Why is it that only these 2 provinces are part of the war goal? I understand why this stuff over there isn't. I don't understand why it is that I don't have the thinger. That being the case, I might be better off. I do think I should take the 5 provinces here. I do not know what's causing us to lose access to... Like, I declared war for the same thing last time, and I had access to what I wanted. This is very weird. Regardless, we can core all this. It costs us, unfortunately, 57 diplo power, which sucks. But if we can take... Actually, not this province. Oh, the reason it's costing us so much is because we actually have multiple things that we don't necessarily need. I think I'm going to take this province here, and maybe the Azores. This gives me overextension. Really, really pisses off Portugal to take that. I'm very close to being able to take both of these. If I take both of those, then that would help me considerably. Alright, we're just gonna, I guess, wait a month. I think that'll make them do what I want. Still not entirely clear on how this whole system works. Okay, still not willing 1 month later, so I guess we'll just wait a little bit. Let's see. They are part of Congo. Their interests are ours. Yes. Let's see. I'm actually going to Google this because this is just weird. Okay. Yeah, this is weird. I don't understand. As far as I can tell, I should have this showing up. conceding Mexico should be showing up on this list. So I'm not going to peace out until I figure out what the fuck is going on here. What I'm actually going to do, because this is going to be weird, I don't think it should matter, but it might. Is I'm actually going to recall this person. I'm not going to abandon the colony, but I'm going to recall them. I'm going to send somebody down to colonial Mexico here. Again, it should not matter. It doesn't make any sense. But if I send someone down here, then I can think of literally no reason why I would not be able to accomplish this objective. So once this is ticked over, we can figure out if that's the problem. And if that's the problem, then we can just do this now. Do I have anything else I need to be doing? I don't think so. So we now have a new colony there. And can't piece. Okay, so I waited a month to see if that would change this, and the answer is no. That didn't fix the problem. Okay, so I have no fucking idea what's going on with this. This is actually like basically nobody seems to actually understand how this works. There's problems with the way the conceding regions works in this game, and I think I'm just going to like declare like some other type of thing in the future. I'm gonna need to figure out a different. I could fabricate a claim on this, for instance, and if I fabricate a claim on that, then I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want, because I should have the ability to get them to concede this to me, and I don't know why. I am going to do this. I don't think it's worth it to hang off on that. So we are going to take these 5 provinces. We're going to take these 2 provinces. And aside from that, I think we are golden. The stuff down here we're going to want to take eventually, but that's well within our sphere of influence. Actually, the problem with taking these is the potential of rebellion, but I don't think that's a big issue. We have positive stability. We shouldn't have too much trouble with this, I don't think. So we'll get a bunch of power projection off of this for our vassals, which is kind of cool. And let's do it. Okay. So we got colonialism casus belli. Yay! Except it doesn't really work quite how you'd expect it to, because reasons. Yay! Can I core all of this? Yes, I can. So we can core 5 provinces here. Send these guys to here. And once we've finished coring all of this, we will have a new colonial nation, which we can then use to basically go after everybody. So let's see here. We can fabricate a claim on Timbuktu. And that's great. Anything else that we need to accomplish at this exact juncture? We have a truce with England for 5 more years. We have Portugal just dying to rebels, as is their wont. You are fighting Charca, Quito, and Huila. That's not a great thing. And they have all sorts of fun things if we decided to go after them. We're not going to go after Castile yet. I don't think that it's worth it to go after them. Ugh. It's dangerous, and we're going to need to build up our navy more. I think Castile will be someone that we go after probably around when the Age of Absolutism hits. We should be able to finish taking out the Portuguese colonial network pretty quickly now. Portugal is completely carpet-sieged back at home. They're basically totally useless, and the hope here is that when I finish these 2 up, that I am all done, and it looks like that will be the case. So I'll have a colonial nation over here. We'll then start putting colonial nations down in the Eastern Americas. And if we have enough colonial nations and we have control over the British Isles, and I don't think we're actually going to get rid of these guys too quickly. I think we're going to keep these vassals so that they can just keep claiming shit. And we're basically going to expand Northumberland, we're going to expand Wales, and just eat England every time we get out of a truce with them. Just slowly but surely we will take their territories, and we'll be able to do that for pretty much free. We just need to leave these troops here. England is totally gone now. There's no hope for England being able to recover. Eventually, though, we are going to have to deal with the fact that France is probably going to start moving in there. We do need to deal with our sailors situation. We need more sailors. And let's take a look here. The merchant guilds are a big problem for me right now because they don't have enough loyalty for me to deal with. I could do a sale of crown lands to get myself private, like I could remove, as an example, private trade fleets, and that'll help. Basically, this will get the equilibrium balance back in the right direction. The other thing, though, is that if I can get this done, which I don't know if it's feasible or not. The issue is that I can only have half of the power that I'm getting off of the... Oh! I could send ships over. I could send my fleet over, and that might get the job done. You know what? We're going to... Before we end, because I was intending to end, actually... But before we do, I'm going to take these ships. I don't think this is going to make that big of a difference, but we're going to go to the Caribbean. And we're going to see if we can accumulate stuff. So I just realized that we do have to core this stuff. And we are going to pump the autonomy here and pump the autonomy here. And what else do we have left? Do we want to keep pumping autonomy, everybody? I think we're going to do the autonomy boost everywhere. We don't really want a bunch of Portuguese separatists. Okay, so that allows me to check this question mark. Do I have ship trade power? Okay, I have 0 from light ships right now, so my ships aren't out there. You do have to actually wait for the ships to show up, it looks like. Cool beans. And now we have 150 trade power here, which is not quite enough, but it's actually really, really close. Is there something I can do to boost that a little bit more? We just need a bit more here. I don't think that'll do it though. Especially because we're only going to get half of the benefit of that. Hello. They gain 15 loyalty and only 10 influence, which means that I actually have the ability to do something here. Do we want... If I kind of need to get rid of this. This is the thing that's causing the biggest issue, is just that one privilege. If I can get this to 40% or more, we'll be in good shape here. I just need to figure out how to get that to happen. Okay, do I have an extra colonist or something? I have 2 extras? Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. There we go. There we go. I'm like, what on earth is going on with my finances? It turns out I've been running at an excessive overage for quite a while here, actually. Let's see. State maintenance, harsh treatment. I don't want to do the harsh treatment cost reduction yet. Let's see here. Anything else that we want to do? We really want to vassalize you, but we're not going to be able to do it yet. Mogadishu is doing their thing. Hey, we have spread there. Okay, I think that we're going to end things here for now, because I need to basically take a look at the situation and respond to the situation as it currently exists. I have been running way too many colonists. So let's take a look at my colonies, which apparently I have been ignoring. And this one doesn't have a... Oh, right, I took the person off of here for the thing. So that one's going to finish soon. And when that finishes, we will just be making bank again. So for now, what we're looking for is we're looking to transition into the late game. That's going to involve eating the rest of England. We need to build enough of a fleet to handle Castile. And we need to do a variety of other things. I actually could, if I wanted, I could actually seize control of more territory again. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to keep seizing land whenever it's off cooldown. So we're up to 46% now. So if we can get that ticked one more time, we'll already have a net gain to our absolutism over the normal patch. Well, not quite. We have to get rid of these first. But that's fine. So if we can get our absolutism high, if we can get our control of estate, our town, estate land high enough, I think it requires that we get to about like 80 or something like that. If we can get about 80, then I think we can actually have a net gain of absolutism while still getting the +1 from the religious sects and the lands of commerce. So I think, have both of those effective for the entire game and get max absolutism. I think I can do that at the same time. So that'll be cool. What are we doing for governments? We still have a long ways to go here. What is my... I have an average local autonomy of 50%. Jesus. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? This is very silly of me. I forgot to state up all this territory that I got off of vassals. And this is actually like a huge amount of development. So we'll have a total governing capacity of 511 out of 650 now. We already got rid of this, right? Yes, we already got rid of that one. So we're definitely going to need to get some administrative ideas on the list. This will hopefully bring down our autonomy a bit. Brings it down a bit. So we'll be able to get control of this stuff later. That will help our economy as well. Unfortunately, these states that we're making are not actually coastal. So we need more coastal states. We can look at building 5 heavies. How many sailors does this cost? I wish it told me how many. I don't have enough sailors. I think it's 200 per then. So each one of those guys is going to take 200 sailors just to build. Ugh, that's going to be rough. But anyway, that's going to be it for right now. So thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure sharing this for you today. And, you know, stay safe out there. And if you're not safe, then at least be successful. Good luck with all of the protests. My thoughts are with you, and I am attempting to raise some money for you. So we'll see how that